Start the lesson, my childhood. Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. How many years? 8. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on the Moss Street. Tamarind means imli, isn't it? That seeds. A day's collection would fetch me a princely sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me the stories about the World War, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in got it in Dinamani. Our area being isolated was completely unaffected by the war, but soon India was forced to join the Allied forces and something like a state of emergency was declared. Okay, he is selling that seeds. The first casualty came in form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameswaram station. The newspaper now had to be bundled and thrown out of the moving train on the Rameswaram road between Rameswaram and Dhanuskodi. This is a place, name of two places. Between that, what would happen? Bundles were thrown out of the train, running train, moving train. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameswaram, to look for a helping hand to carry the bundles, and as if naturally, I filled the slot. They had to carry that newspaper. They were small business people, like they were used to sell again these newspapers. Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. First time his salary was with the help of his friend Samsuddin. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. Isn't it your first pocket money, your first time you do a job, you all are doing part time jobs, I hope, isn't it? Many of the 10th class students. So you can understand the pride, the honesty, or the greatness. This was my first salary. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics, inherited which comes genetically, naturally from your parents, grandparents, and parents, into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment, and trained in certain way by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and a sister. Some other most of the nature come from your father and your mother, right? Or from your dada, dadi, nana, nani, grandparents also. I had got it. Childhood friends Sanda Sastri, Aravinda Sastra, and Sivas Prakasan. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As a child, none of us ever felt any difference among themselves because of our religious differences and upbringings. No, these three boys were non-Muslims, but there was no difference in like now how it is shown. Communal, no differences was there earlier, isn't it? Hindu, Muslim, all were friends, all used to live happily, lovingly. In fact, Ramanandan Sastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Sastri, the high priest of temple, Ramaswaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of Rameswaram temple from his father. Understood? He was very strict priest son. Aravinda went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Siva Prakasan became a catering contractor of Southern Railways. Three sons. They first became the priest like his father of the temple when father got old. Second one, arranged business. He took over business by arranging transport for visiting pilgrims. Third one became a catering contractor, food, catering and all we all know for Southern Railways. During the annual Shri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our families used to arrange boats with special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site. Understood? From the temple, God, Ganesh, and all that idols would go to the marriage function hall. Sacred thing, isn't it? Situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of Prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. What would happen? Sacred and moral stories were told to children. Nowadays, you'll always listen to phones and mobiles only, no? Earlier time, your mothers, grandmothers would tell the stories, moral stories to the children. One day, what happened when he was in fifth class at Rameswaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim. Got it? Topi, which Muslim children wear, isn't it, children? And I always sat in front row next to Hamananda Sastri, who wore a sacred thread. He was a non-Muslim. The new teacher would not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim. Some discrimination the teacher did. In accordance with our social ranking, as a new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. Understood? Now the communal spoilage came in the teacher's mind, and she separated the friends, the children, boy and a Hindu boy and a Muslim boy. She asked one of them to sit at the last benches and the other one to sit in the front. Clear? I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression. We went home and told our respective parents, isn't it? Whatever happens in the school, any important, good or bad incident, we tell to our parents. This all happened. This boy also told. Lakshmana Sastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. Principal warned the teacher. He bluntly asked the teacher to say sorry, like it means either to apologize or quit, leave the school, resign from the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Sati conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. Principal was very strict. She told either teacher should say sorry or she should leave the school island. She should resign and go away. On the whole, do you understand what is happening in the story? The same society of Rameswaram is very rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher, Siva Subramanya Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. Like they were very strict in religious matters. He did his best to break the social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds would mingle easily. Got it? It's not that Hindu, Muslim. We are all human beings. You should understand that first. He used ours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of big cities. Abdul Kalam is writing the story, the author of this book, of the lesson. Okay, writer means author. So, he is educated. So, he was telling you educated people should understand this, we all, so that we can finish this communalism, social inequality, and there should be no communal intolerance. We should tolerate each other, live happily in this world, isn't it? No fighting, no social Hindu, Muslim, no differences. The picture. One day he invited to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. Got it? They invited a Muslim boy. He refused to serve me in her kitchen. She refused it. She was angry. Siva Subramaniam Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hand and sat down beside me to eat his meal. His wife watched us behind the kitchen door. I wonder whether she had observed. All these other thoughts, what all happened. Siva Subramaniam Iyer was perturbed, and neither was she. She was right in her own way. No, she did not allow this Muslim boy, to enter the kitchen. But what the sir did, Siva Subramaniam Iyer sat beside this boy and took his plate. He started eating. So what happened to his wife? She wondered, and that small boy was also sitting. She melted. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Siva Subramaniam Iyer invited me to join for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be comforted. Got it? He was hesitated, that small boy, but sir called him again next week and to remove the differences. So that we are going on a communal differences. So this is very common. You should not take it hard to your heart, isn't it? Feelings. You should come again and clear this in the mind. Slowly, slowly, it will go. The same way that Muslim boy also ate, drank water, and cleaned the floor. So her wife was shocked in that. She was angry, but still, she had a soft corner by seeing that boy's behavior, manners. When I visited his house the next week, Siva Subramaniam Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen. Second time, she took her inside the kitchen and served me food with her own hands. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. They were very happy, positive feeling they had. I asked my father for permission to leave Ramaswaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanantapuram. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly away the sun across the sun alone and without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They are the children of life. They are children of nature. They are not. You are not your parents' children. You are nature's children, God's children. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. Let them grow, for they have their own thoughts. Let them understand. Let them blossom in. For today, we finished the lesson. Abdul Kalam was all of them know him, isn't it? He died few years back. He was a good educationist, unmarried. What all did we get after he died in his rooms? Only books, just one or two clothes, hardly, but all books. He was always studying and studying. We should learn from this that if we study, we have a broad sense of understanding everything, religion, moral values, studies, isn't it? Sports, everything you have. If you study properly, your brain sharpens and enlarges. So let's finish our lesson for today with the homework. First question, what were the problems faced by Kalam in his childhood? Second question, that forced Samsuddin to looking for a helping hand. What does that refer to? Third one, I feel this lot. What does the sentence mean? Fourth one, if one wants to bring a change in social system, what qualities should one possess? Got it, children? Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Send me the homeworks by 5:30 in the evening. See you in the next class.